Hello everybody, I'm Charlie from Dr. Wen, and welcome along to another daily Doctor Who YouTube video. Today I will be reviewing the third Doctor story, Inferno, so if you haven't seen the story, then I'm just about to play a trailer of it that someone else made. This is not mine, I didn't make it, but this YouTuber has said I can credit them, and it is the YouTuber VERATISERUMUK. So here is the trailer, and I hope you enjoy it.
What is your name? How did you get into the complex?
Who helped you? Name! When did you first become a traitor?
Doctor, where did you go? Where did the TARDIS console take you?
Same time, same place. Only a different dimension.
Put your hands up.
It's a parallel world, Liz. Terrible things are happening there.
Unless you cooperate, you'll soon be in front of a firing squad. You have very little time left.
My dear young lady, if that computer was functioning, it would warn us that we all have very little time left. Unless we do something very, very quickly indeed, there's going to be a disaster. As long as you people go on drilling, you're rushing into terrible danger.
Who sent you here?
Why did you come?
I don't exist in your world.
And you won't feel the bullets when we shoot you.
Through the Earth's crust now, your release forces you never dreamed could exist.
We have penetration zero, penetration zero, penetration zero.
Stop this drilling! Stop this drilling!
So, I hope you enjoyed that trailer, and as you can see, it looks like a pretty brilliant story, which, in my opinion, it is. The plot revolves around a top-secret drilling project known as Project Inferno, run by the evil Professor Stahlman, who wants to basically penetrate the Earth's crust and release lots of energy. Unfortunately, it ends up releasing too much energy, and basically causes an apocalypse on the Earth. However, it's not exactly the Earth we know. The Doctor, in episode 3, is transported to a parallel Earth that is running similar to ours, but it's run by some pretty evil people, and there is an evil version of the Brigadier with an eye patch and no moustache, and an evil version of Liz Shaw as well, and this world has no Doctor at all, and they are more ahead with Project Inferno. So in this world we kind of get to see what it would be like if the apocalypse did actually happen, which actually raises the stakes for regular Earth, which is what I quite like about this episode. So, as I just said, this has a parallel Earth. In episode 3, the Doctor did an experiment with his TARDIS, trying to, get it to move or travel in time or something with nuclear power, and it ended up transporting him to this parallel world, where he actually fights multiple unit soldiers who were his friends. There is an evil version of Sergeant Benton, Liz Shaw and the Brigadier Lethbridge Stewart, and they are all really, really good at playing their evil selves. I wish we got to see more of them. I think this would have made a brilliant 10-part epic story, because in my opinion it deserved it. It was really, really good, this whole parallel world idea. As I said before, the fact that the apocalypse actually happens on this parallel world is better in my opinion, because it kind of raises the stakes on regular Earth, so we got to see kind of what would have happened, because obviously if we were on regular Earth the entire time, it wouldn't have been as good, because we already know that since the Doctor's on exile, they're not just going to kill him off by making all these explosions happen. So I think it was really good how we got to explore the consequences of what could have been, which is really interesting. I think had the parallel Earth not been in the story, it would have actually quite dragged a lot, and it wouldn't have been as good as I think it would have been. Could have still made it work. It could have been really good with more focus on the Primords, but I don't think it would have been quite as good, and I don't think it would have reached the heights it does with the parallel world. So the villains in this story are known as the Primords. Of course, they are created basically when a human touches the green goo that's kind of leaking from these drills, and they eventually turn really blue and get lots of hair, and in some cases they're pretty rabid humans, in other cases they have brown hair, in some cases they have blue hair and green skin. It's not really consistent with their appearance. It's not really any big deal though, that's probably the most minor criticism you can have towards an episode. But I think the Primords are really good villains. Lots of people say they don't really count as villains and that Stahlman is the villain. I think Stahlman didn't have any evil intentions as such. He was just so determined on getting Project Inferno done that his judgment was clouded and he let the Primords happen. So he was mean, but he wasn't exactly the main villain in this. I think the Primords themselves were classed as the villains, well, except Stahlman himself does turn into a villain, but Stahlman pre-Primord isn't really a villain as such. So yeah, the Primords are really good. They have incredibly hot skin and they are really strong as well. They can rip through bars. They're also really fast as well, as we saw in that battle with the Doctor and the unit soldier who'd been turned into a Primord. And I think the Primords are very good villains. Arguably not the strongest villains in Season 7. I think that title goes to the Silurians in Doctor Who and the Silurians, but I think they're still better than the Ambassadors and the Autons in this series. Like I said, it's a very strong season, so it's quite hard to kind of rank this. Overall, this is my favourite story in the season. It's absolutely brilliant. I love every single second of it. No 3 hours is wasted. Lots of people say that episode 5 drags a lot and wasn't really needed. I guess it was just kind of trying to escape, the building in which Project Inferno was in. But I think they needed that episode, to be honest, because it would have felt too rushed if it just skipped straight to episode 6. I think I'd rather have an episode to be slightly drawn out than to be rushed a lot. So yes, this episode is also notable for having the Third Doctor become properly the Third Doctor. He has that gadget which opens the garage door for unit. Not that much, but the Third Doctor is known for his gadgets, and this is kind of where his gadget phase starts all the way up until season 10. He also first uses Venusian Aikido here, some alien karate, which he uses on multiple parallel Earth unit soldiers, and Stahlman himself, which is really cool. He also drives Bessie a lot, which was a prominent theme throughout previous episodes in Season 7, but he does even more so in this story, making this a proper Third Doctor story. This has everything that the Third Doctor is, and this is him at his peak in my opinion. From Doctor Who and the Silurians, he had already established himself as my favourite Classic Who Doctor, but he just gets better and better throughout his run until it's really sad when he regenerates in Planet of the Spiders. But it's okay, because Tom Baker's also a brilliant Doctor. The side characters in this story are very good as well. I don't really talk enough about side characters and stories, mainly because most of the time they're just pretty meh, and most of the time they die. But in this one, I think that it's really good as well. They're really fleshed out, even in the first 2 episodes. We kind of relate to them quite a lot. We have Petra Williams, a scientist that's Stahlman's kind of assistant. We also have Sir Keith, who's also running the project and is kind of overshadowed a bit by Professor Stahlman himself. And we also have I can't remember his name. There's another scientist, Mr. Sutton, who is also kind of an advisor on the project. So I think they're really good, and it's really interesting to see the parallel world version of themselves. It must have been quite a challenge for the actors as well, Caroline John and Nicholas Courtney included, having to play these evil versions of the characters. It must have been so much fun for them. I think Nicholas Courtney was having a bit too much fun playing his evil self, which I thought was really, really good. I think especially the Brigadier is incredibly sinister, and I quite like how everyone's kind of, redeeming themselves towards this Doctor, being even nice at times towards the Doctor, but the Brigadier is just firmly evil all the time, and it's just brilliant. I really like all the characters in the story. They're so fleshed out and brilliant, and like I said, I wouldn't have minded another 2 or 3 parts to this story. I think it's really, really good. Yes, I love everything about this episode. So I hope you've enjoyed this review, everybody, and feel free to subscribe and let me know down in the comments what your opinions are on this story. My next Classic Who review will be on Genesis of the Daleks, the 4th Doctor story from 1975. I'm going to be doing that next Sunday, and I will see you then and next time. So tomorrow, well actually later today, since I didn't do a video yesterday, then I will be ranking all episode 7s of New Who, including one of my favourites, A Good Man Goes to War. I will see you then, and goodbye.